Hi everybody, it's Tim with Engadget, and we are taking a look at the new Samsung Galaxy Note for AT&T with LTE. As you might have guessed, it's the one in the middle. On the right we have the T-Mobile flavor of the Galaxy S2, and on the left the Apple iPhone 4S, which as you can see is quite handily dwarfed by this new superphone, which is what Samsung is calling this. That is thanks to the 5.3-inch display up front. It is a Super AMOLED HD display, however it is not a plus display, so you won't get true RGB subpixels. However, even with Pentile, this is still a beautiful display. Color reproduction is great, contrast is great, brightness is fantastic, and resolution of 1280 by 800 gives you plenty of pixels to look at as well. This is powered by a 1.5 GHz dual-core processor with 16 gigs of storage built in, and there is micro SD expansion if you want to add up to 32 gigabytes of storage on top of that. Performance is quite good. It's perhaps not quite as snappy as the Galaxy Nexus is, but it is still very good. Perhaps part of that is due to the gingerbread build which is running on here. No ice cream sandwich yet, but we are told that that is coming. Now, other than the size of the phone, which is, as you can see, quite large, the most distinctive feature on here is the inclusion of a stylus, but it's not actually a stylus. This is called the S Pen. Samsung is very clear that this is not a stylus, it is an S Pen. This is developed using Wacom technology, so it is a capacitive stylus. It is pressure sensitive, and it has a button here, which you can see in the US version here we've got a gray button, which is different from the European version, which had a black button that was very hard to find. If you get the white version of the phone, you will have a white stylus with a gray button, which is even easier to find. You can do some neat tricks like holding down the button and holding down the screen. We'll take a screenshot. There we go. Which you can then save and doodle on if you like to. You can also hold and do a double tap to bring up the S Notes application, which you can then doodle on if you like. Doodle anything you like to. We actually went ahead and made some notes earlier in the S Memo app here, and you can see some that Samsung has made. Here's one that we made earlier, which is just some pictures that I took actually from the Lime Rock Vintage races. You can very easily modify this. You can add new pages and basically go in here and make a little collage if you like to. So I'll go ahead and add a new picture from my gallery. You can also take a new picture and add it instantly. This is actually the picture that I just captured. Now you can add that in here. You can resize it if you like to, and you can doodle on here as well and add notes and arrows and things like that. There. So you can make notes, you can share these, it'll export them as JPEGs, you can email them to your friends. It's kind of fun, but ultimately it's not the kind of thing that we see ourselves using quite a lot, and as you can see, handwriting with the S Pen is a little bit challenging. If you've ever tried to sign your name in one of those digital pads for credit cards, you know that they are not the most accurate things in the world. This is the same thing. The sensation of writing on a screen is very different from the sensation of writing on paper, so you won't be taking very accurate notes here, but you can ultimately use this as something of a moleskin replacement, perhaps, if you are the type of person who likes to take a lot of notes. Now, as you can see, performance is reasonably good, but again, it's not going to be breakneck. The application build here is actually pretty lean. There isn't a lot of junkware. It's pre-installed by AT&T, which is nice. And another nice thing is that this stylus actually works really well with just about any app out there. We tried it with a couple of different games, and World of Goo in particular was very good. Using the stylus gives you great precision for moving the blobs around on screen. If you've played the game before, you know that this is one that requires a little bit of precision, and it is a lot of fun to play with the stylus or without the stylus. Now you can of course just use your finger, but it is a bit more fun to use the stylus. We also played some Fruit Ninja with the stylus and found that it worked quite well also. In fact, if you are somewhat of a veteran of smartphones, you might find yourself using the stylus more than you thought you would. In fact, we found ourselves reaching for the stylus many times even when we didn't need to, just because it kind of gave us that old school sensation of using a Windows mobile device or something like that. Now, the Galaxy Note is a fantastic phone. It's one of the best phones on the market, we think, right now. The Galaxy Nexus is probably a better choice for a lot of Android users simply because it already has Ice Cream Sandwich. It has a better upgrade path ahead of it, we think. And also, it's a little bit more pocket-friendly than the 5.3-inch Samsung Galaxy Note here. But if you've got the largish hands, if you don't mind talking into a 5-plus-inch phone, And if you don't mind waiting a little bit for ice cream sandwich, this is certainly a very, very nice device. Performance is good, the display is gorgeous, and having something that slots in between a smartphone and a tablet is actually a nicer thing than you might think. Now, the tablet or phone or phablet or superphone or whatever you'd like to call it is available soon at AT&T, priced at $300 on contract, and we think that is a fair price for what is a very good phone. Again, this is Tim from Engadget taking a look at the AT&T version of the Samsung Galaxy Note.